Well, we've been in Mosul all day. We just got back. Certainly there's a lesser intensity in the fighting, but not a pause. And what we saw today was street-to-street fighting, mostly with armoured Humvees, special forces on foot, going in and clearing streets one after the others. The biggest problem they've got at the moment in the east and in the Karama district where we were is snipers. But they had actually secured large parts of that district. They weren't just in there fighting, they had essentially secured them, and people were back out on the streets, children were out on the streets. Even though a few blocks away we could still hear intense fighting. ISIL also seems to have changed their tactics a little bit. Up through the last week we saw a lot of suicide bombings. Fighters really throwing themselves into the attack, most of them wearing suicide vests. And today, well, we even came under fire as we're coming out through Gogjali. But what we're seeing is troops are coming under fire, and then the ISIL fighters are melting away again. So they're hiding in the buildings, they're taking opportunities to attack, and then they're sort of melting back into the rubble again and pulling back. But that's particularly around the outskirts of Mosul. Even still outside of Mosul, there was a lot of fighting, a lot of activity with these sort of 2 or 3 ISIL fighters just hiding out and then attacking when the opportunity arises with troops. So less intense, it's mostly assault rifles, some mortars, as you mentioned, coming in from ISIL, but not that really heavy aerial bombardment or the artillery that we've had over the past week.